recording, we can go live on Facebook too. So hello and welcome if you've just joined us. Welcome to this closing plenary, Building Teacher Communities, Building Learning. And I'm here with Rabia Shafi and Stephen Mander. Hi Rabia, hi Stephen.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome. Nice to see you both. Rabia, where are you joining us from exactly?
I'm joining from Pakistan.
You're in Pakistan. Okay, are you in a city or in the countryside?
No, I live in a city. It's near our capital,
Right.
but it's a smaller city.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us. It must be quite late in the day for you, but we really appreciate
Yeah,
you
almost
being here.
9:30.
Thank you. And what about you, Steve? Where are you?
I'm in Portugal.
You're in Portugal. Okay, so
Yeah.
we've got it covered with different continents coming together for this session. So I'll just tell you a little bit about our presenters. So Stephen Mander is one of our courses for teachers Facebook tutors. He's a teacher and teacher educator working in Portugal. And he has over 20 years of experience working with teachers and students in Asia, the Middle East, Africa, and Europe. So wow, what a curriculum of different contexts. He holds a Delta qualification and since 2015 has been running and designing training and mentoring programs for both experienced and novice teachers and teacher educators. So that's Stephen, and Rabia Shafi is one of our courses for teachers Facebook tutors as well. She's a teacher educator and materials developer with over 20 years of experience working with educators across Asia, the Middle East, the Americas, and Africa. She holds an MPhil in applied linguistics. Rabia designs and implements training programs for teachers and teacher educators in public schools, and she lives and works in Pakistan. So thank you so much. We're so lucky to have you both with that wealth of experience and covering the globe between you. I'm going to hand over to you now so you can share your slides. Let's just see if that's working. If everything's okay, I'll turn my camera off, but I'm here if you need me.
Thank you.
Okay, so welcome everybody to our session today, the plenary session for day 3 of World Teachers Day. I'm Stephen, as Joe said, and it's nice to meet you all. It's great to see lots of people from around the world at today's session. The focus for today is going to be on building teacher communities and building learning. Okay, so what we're going to look at is we're going to look at something called self-directed learning and what it is. We're going to look at the benefits of teacher learning communities, how to be a successful learner, and also ways in which the British Council can support your learning and your development. And hopefully at the end, we'll have time for lots of questions as well, which me and Rabia always like answering lots of questions. So we're looking forward to that. Okay. So Rabia, would you like to do the next
Yes,
part?
thank you. So, as a teacher educator, it's our responsibility to continuously develop ourselves and strive for excellence. So, I would like you to use the chat feature and tell us how do you develop yourself? What do you do to develop yourself? Use the chat feature. Stephen, what do you do?
What do I do? That's a very good question. What do I do to develop? I think one of the main things I do to develop is to make sure that I'm always doing something new in my work. I don't like to repeat the same things again and again. So I always try, when I've got an opportunity to do something new, like for example today, I like to try doing something new. How about yourself?
For me, this is something I need to work with and work on. I just am a learnaholic. Whatever I find, a new course, something, a new book, I just go for it. So one of the reasons that I really want to be here today is to share that this is not actually a real thing and how we can prioritize and self-direct our learning into a positive way. So we're getting a lot of responses here.
Hmm.
So people are writing that they attend webinars and conferences and self-study courses. So that's great, attending webinars, doing courses on ELT, and a lot of them are repeating the same things like webinars and conferences and training. Reading books also, that is something good. Um,
Yeah, I think someone has mentioned podcasts as well, which is something I
yeah.
use a lot because I don't have a lot of time. So if I've got a podcast on while I'm cooking or something like that, I think it's a nice way to kind of do two things at once.
Yeah, same for me. Whenever I'm cooking, I just listen to somebody talking. Either
Mhm.
it's a podcast or somebody, a tutor chat or something. That's really good use of time, I feel.
Yeah, so lots of good ideas. Thank you for all of those. Thinking about that, what we're going to look at now is hopefully a way that you can continue to develop, but maybe thinking about developing in a more maybe effective way. Um, so what we're going to look at is something called self-directed learning. Okay. Which is what a lot of you are clearly doing with the podcasts and the webinars, but there's 5 key things that we do as teachers and as learners to be a self-directed learner. So the 5 things are empowerment, purposefulness, resourcefulness, interaction, and reflection. And we need to do all of these things to ensure that we're learning effectively. So we've got some little blanks on the screen here. And the first one is empowerment. So I'm a self-directed learner when I diagnose my learning what? What do you think, everybody? Could you tell me? Write in the chat. I diagnose my learning what? Okay, so we've got objectives, goals, experience, progress, style, skills, purpose, goals. Okay, lots of interesting ideas. And when we think about the diagnosis, though, the thing that you need to diagnose is your needs. Okay, what you need to do. So I think some people have come up with that one as well. So that's great. And the next thing is purposefulness. So you need to set and implement learning what? Please write in the chat. What do you think it is? So objectives, goals, techniques, outcomes. Excellent. I think they're all in the right ballpark. So yes, learning goals. Okay, so you need clear goals to make the learning effective. Okay, next one is the resourcefulness. So I identify something and learning strategies that help me learn. Okay, so what is this? Identify techniques. That's a good idea. Skills, resources. Excellent. Yeah. So I identify resources and learning strategies that help me. Okay. Next one is interaction. So I interact with like-minded peers to what my learning? Oh, that's a good word. Enhance, okay, is a good word I've seen there from somebody. A few enhancers: improve, intensify. Excellent. Achieve, promote. Okay, so consolidate. I think enhance probably works there as well, Rabia. What do you think?
I think so.
Yeah, definitely. So obviously using others to kind of consolidate what you learn. And then the last one is reflection. So I evaluate my learning what? Okay, I can see outcomes, progression, progress, experience. Okay, so the last one is, lots of you got this. I evaluate my learning outcomes. So did I achieve my goals? And if not, I would say it's okay in many ways, because the process, the learning process, you've done it. You set your goals. Maybe it didn't work out the way you wanted it to, and that's happened to me lots of times. And then you just reflect, and then maybe try again, and maybe make tweaks to then improve what you're going to do next. Okay, so Rabia, you had a question for everybody about these 5 things, yeah?
Yes, so it's really important that we reflect on, like, are we self-directed learners? What do we do in terms of all of these 5 elements? So I would like you to go through these 5 features, elements, and think about, do they apply to you? Are you an empowered learner? Okay, think about all of these 5 statements, and on a scale from 1 till 5, let us know how much confident you are. 1 is being not confident, and 5 being very confident. So I can see a lot of 3s and 4s. You are here. That is one of the signs that you are a self-directed learner. So that's really great. I could see a 1, but majority of them are 3s and 4s. And we really hope that by the end of this session, the numbers would increase, and your confidence level is going to increase as well. So that
Where would you put yourself, Rabia?
I need to work on setting my and implementing my learning goals. I need to be like really purposeful, because I was just telling you, I'm a learnaholic. I see a course and oh my God, I like this. I want to know. I don't even have time for that. But then I wake up all night, and then next day my work suffers. So maybe purposefulness, I need to work on that. Other than that, I think I'm very good at reflecting on my learning and applying that as well. For self-directed learning, I think whatever you learn, you need to apply that also. So I'm very good at learning and application, but I want to learn everything which is not healthy.
Okay, that's fine. That's good though. But then you've reflected that you need to
Yeah.
kind of maybe narrow the goals that you set for yourself.
Yes,
Definitely.
yes.
Okay.
So
Sorry, were you going to say something, Rabia?
no, I was just trying to thank everyone for taking time to reflect on their self-directed learning scale, and we'll come back to it at the end as well.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so what we're going to do for the rest of the session is we're going to be looking at each of these characteristics of a self-directed learner, and we're going to kind of look at things that we can do to do these well, okay? And also things that the British Council can offer you to help you improve and do these different steps more effectively. So the first one is empowerment. So this is when you shape your learning, enabling yourself to make informed choices regarding what, when, and how you learn. Okay. Obviously, you've all kind of come to the webinars and you've come to the teaching day sessions. So you've made decisions to kind of help yourself develop and learn, and that's really good. Rabia was mentioning that sometimes she doesn't kind of set herself specific goals and can kind of do lots of things at once. There is one thing which I noticed was done earlier in the World Teachers Day presentations. I think it was on Thursday, where somebody did a presentation about the CPD framework that the British Council has. And this is one thing that I have used in the past to help me develop as a learner. Here are the kind of professional practices that you can see in that document, and we'll put a link in for you for this. But you can choose the different professional practices here and think about which one that you think you need to develop in. And then what's quite useful is once you've done that, you can then choose more specific things. So for example, this one is about taking responsibility for professional development. And then in there, you can see different definitions here, and then maybe choose the one that you think you need to work on the most. So for example, sorry to go back to Rabia and a comment before, but she talked about, for example, defining short, medium, and long-term goals. So maybe she needs to work on that. So you can go on this document, have a look at how to do that better, and then use the British Council website to kind of find articles and resources that will help you with that.
And can I add something, that the resources are also categorized for each of these professional practices. So they think that they want to develop in one professional practice, they just need to go to that, and they'll find articles, publications, podcasts, webinars, everything related to that professional practice to develop themselves. So it's kind of interlinked.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that I always think about when I think about this, because it's called empowerment, which is obviously about making you feel empowered. But I think one thing to remember when we're putting ourselves in this position and thinking about what you need to do in order to grow is obviously being quite vulnerable as well, and kind of thinking to yourself, okay, what am I not doing well? And being really reflective about what things you still need to improve on, because every teacher needs to improve things, and every teacher can do things better. I can definitely do certain things better. And it's really important that we reflect on that at this stage of the self-directed learning, and then move on from there. But being vulnerable, I think, can actually be quite empowering as well.
Exactly that. And along with empowerment, I think purposefulness is really important. It's interlinked to that. For instance, as I was telling you, that I really need to have like clear objectives that resonate with my interests and needs, but then my interests are so wide. So maybe I need to have that, a narrow, or as you said, a short-term goal to like purposefully meet my needs as well. And it's so much true for other teachers as well. As like I'm a teacher educator, most of the times I'm visiting different schools, and when I go to different schools, I start training, and I find that some of the teachers are really taking interest in what I'm saying, and the others are maybe not even understanding what I'm saying. So when I ask them, they're like, because English is not our first language, and I'm training them on reading English in an English medium session. So they're not even understanding what I'm saying. So from there, I think that sometimes if we have like that kind of session that we actually have to attend, it's mandatory for us. So we need to have that purpose, that goal for ourselves, that where can we find our subject related training specifically for ourselves. So maybe that is a question for our audience as well. Could you share in chat, like, have you ever been in a training room where it was not aligned to your learning needs, or you were asked to attend that training, and what did you do as a result of that? And Stephen, you had a good take on that.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely been in that situation where I've gone to training where I thought, why am I here? But at the same time, I think even in a session like that, where you think, oh, maybe there won't be something for me, you can find something that will resonate with you, and also resonate with your classroom. So a thing that I always have in the back of my mind when I go to any kind of training session is, okay, how is this relevant to me, and how can I take something from it? Because there's always going to be something small. It might not be, it's always one of those, sorry to go off topic a little bit, but it's one of those things. Sometimes you go to a session and they've got these kind of clear learning aims, and us as teachers have learning aims for our lessons, but sometimes the learning that you get out of it is not part of that learning aim. It can be something separate, that just something in the session just kind of triggered off and made you kind of like, oh, wait a minute, that is relevant in a different way to maybe what the trainer is intending. And I think it's very important that we keep ourselves kind of alive to that. So yeah.
So true. And adding to what you were also saying yesterday, that it's not just the content we can learn classroom management from that trainer. It's not just the language, it's how they're interacting, how they're setting up pair work and group work. So maybe having a purpose in something that is not related to your purpose as well. So making sure that you can think of a purpose and direct your learning towards that could also be one of those things. And another feature of self-directed learning is interaction. A lot of people think that I have to empower myself, I have to have a purpose for myself, but then with communities, the concept of communities that we have now, we can interact with other like-minded people as well. So for me, I always take opportunities to interact with people who are like me, who want to learn and who have a certain experience in what I want to learn from. So that is how like I consolidate. I have discussions with them. I share my lesson plans with them. I share my materials with them and take their feedback and then revamp my materials with that. So do you have any tips for interaction, Stephen?
I mean, like, obviously offline, the main thing for me has always been staff rooms. Like, when I kind of come in from a lesson or something like that, and maybe something's gone badly, I like asking people, my peers, okay, what do you think I did wrong? Why didn't it work? I think that's really, I'm just going back to the kind of being vulnerable thing. I think it's very important. I remember once I was observed, it was like a regional manager or something was watching me teach a lesson, and it didn't go as well as I wanted it to go. But afterwards, I went and spoke to him. I said, "What do you think? What was the struggle? What was the thing that didn't work well in that lesson?" And one thing that we do in the communities online is obviously provide a kind of online version of that. That's what we like to do and what we like to how we like to interact with people. So online in the British Council communities, which I think you're going to introduce,
Yes.
Rabia, this for me is really important. Like, a lot of the time we're alone as teachers, we're just in a classroom, but then we go home or whatever, but we need other people to kind of ask questions to and feel safe about asking questions to. And I think that's one thing that the communities of the British Council do really well. Do you want to talk about that a bit more, Rabia?
Yes, and I want to ask our audience also, everybody who is
Okay.
here, are you part of any community? Have you joined any community? A community could be maybe your staff room, it could be a WhatsApp group, it could be a Facebook group, it could be us here as well. We are right now part of a teaching English community as well. If yes, would you let us know? Please write which community you're part of. A teacher association, different groups at British Council, local communities, MENA. Enalta, the English Club. Okay, so what do you think? What are the benefits of joining certain communities? One of the benefit is like you have like-minded people there. What are the other benefits? Supporting each other, co-learning, collaboration, friendship. Lovely.
I think the friendship thing is something that's maybe not talked about as much. Like
Yes.
because sometimes it can become quite transactional, where you kind of think about it as like, oh, I go to this community, I'll get an answer to a question that I need. So, for example, like in the community that we work in at the moment, in the courses for teachers, there's been a discussion about how to teach prepositions, and lots of people are sharing ideas, and it's really, really wonderful. But I think on top of that, it's kind of there's a kind of I mean, I can't really explain it better than the word friendship. Like, it's a nice way. It's those kind of attachments that you can get and that are beyond just the kind of transaction of like, oh, you helped me with a lesson. It's like you made me feel safe, you made me feel part of a community, and I think that's important.
Yes, and I think that is the biggest feature of our community as well, because everybody is welcome, everybody can share their ideas, get feedback, they can share the problems as well. They can ask for help without being embarrassed that, we want help on that. So I think that is one of the biggest benefits. And we have a lot of comments. If we move on, we have summarized some of them on the next. So the first benefit is peer support. So with that, there is like reduced feeling of isolation. It's for self-directed learning. You're not like, oh, I have to learn by myself. It's not like that at all. And then there's a sense of belonging. You comment and somebody replies to you, and then you respond, and then people are coming and liking your comment, and they're there to help you. They're going to extend on your idea. So then you belong to a certain community. And then there is enhanced emotional well-being as well. A lot of times when we are all by ourselves, communities sustain us with they make you feel that you're not all by yourself, you're not alone, you don't have to tackle with all the problems yourself. And then there is shared experience and perspective, just like Stephen and I were talking, that we take feedback from others. We tell them that I did this, I was happy, I applied this. What's your feedback? What do you think? How can I improve? So that is one of the ways that communities really help, that is peer support. On the next slide, we have a link to one of the communities that we have on which Stephen and I work. It's British Council Courses for Teachers. You will just have a link and you can explore it, you can join it. And on this, we have specifically, this one is for courses, the one that British Council has on their website. These days, we'll talk about the courses that are currently running, but this community is part or extension of the courses that we are doing. We give you resources, we give you discussion tasks, there are polls, and we share lesson plans over there. And like we said, there's peer support. There is a problem, there is a solution, there is a discussion, there is an idea. And then we have live sessions over there, which also we're going to talk about in the coming slides. In the next slide, we have the next benefit. That is about networking and collaboration. And we're talking about friendship. Friendship is another name, I would say, for networking. Whenever you go over there, you meet new people, you find connections. And with every course, we have new connections and new friendships, not just between the moderators, but with the, because we know that person when we next time come and we see the response, and we appreciate for them taking time to develop through the self-directed pathway that they have. So we can collaborate on projects there, co-teach lessons, or participate in virtual communities of practice. And on the next slide, we have another community that we have, and that one is a closed community in terms of we set up the tasks, we share the discussion points, the ones that you have shared, we highlight them. But here you can take help from all around the world, people from all around the world. So that is something that, is available for all of you to join, to build your learning and develop. And this would be the supplement of, the element of belonging, asking for help, connecting and networking. So anything you would like to add on these points in terms of interacting through these communities, Stephen?
No, I think actually you've covered all of it really. One thing that I would say is, especially with this group here, which is the one that I'm going to say this, but because this is the group that me and Rabia work with, but this one kind of touches on different aspects of the self-directed learning, because obviously you're choosing the course that you think will benefit you the most. And then you get to interact with people that are taking that course as well, but also people who are maybe not taking that course but want to interact and kind of discuss the topics that come up. And it's nice because it has those two aspects to it.
Yes, and something else, that if you join that group, the posts come on your feed as well. You actually don't have to go to the page and think of I have to take out this time to go to this page. It actually comes to your feed on Facebook. And even if you're not directly focusing on that, it will show to you a resource, an activity, a lesson plan, a good discussion point, which will help you improve your learning.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Okay, we're going to move on now, and I think we're going to look at the next feature, which is resourcefulness. Yeah, which is obviously a very important part of being a teacher, being able to access resources, but also be resourceful yourself. And one thing that is kind of related to what we were just discussing about the courses. Obviously, the courses is something that is a resource that you can use to develop. There's the two communities that Rabia mentioned, and obviously the Teaching English Facebook page as well, where you can get lots of different webinars, which is obviously one resource. You can get lots of lesson plans and the rest, and as well another resource I kind of talking across a little bit, but also the website on there. I use it a lot. I don't know about you, Rabia, but I use it a lot in terms of kind of finding articles that are relevant to the topics that the teachers that I train want to know about. And it also has the podcasts, which are really useful. Like we said, when you're cooking, you can listen to them. And there's lesson plans and lesson resources and lesson activities. But for me, resourcefulness, one of the most important things here is about the time management. Because one thing, sometimes resources can put you off as well. Like if you see something and think, okay, that's a very nice idea, but there's absolutely no way that I could do that in my classes, or there's no way that I could have the time to do that. And I think it's very important that that you think about, when you're being a self-directed learner, that you think about, okay, when can I manage to do these things? When can I fit them in? And another thing, kind of like thinking back to the courses that Rabia was talking about, is just thinking about, one thing that's nice about those courses is the resourcefulness kind of hits in terms of time management, because you can just do little bits here and there. And one thing that I've always learned to do is to not actually finish the thing that I started, because then I'm kind of motivated to go back and do it, and that helps with my time management. So I can say, like, I'll do 5 minutes and then stop. Even if I'm halfway through an exercise, I'll stop, and then I can come back maybe later in the day and go back and do it. How about you, Rabia? What do you use in terms of resources to support your learning?
I really like the structure because I'm a materials developer, so I look for the structure. So that helps me. And then the other thing is like they're authentic. For me, in terms of like online, you see a lot of things that are maybe outdated. They will not be suitable for current classrooms. So for me, I think that when I go to Teaching English website, or I've been a fan of these courses before I started the tutoring. So for me, I always have found that, I can relate to, and I can use these materials within my training rooms and my classrooms without thinking about that, oh my God, whether they are outdated or will this work or not, because I trust that they would. So that is something that, I really think about.
So just
If you
to
move,
Yeah. So just to summarize, so these are the these are the things we've just all kind of discussed, and you can find them on the website. Did you want to move on to this, Rabia?
yes. So
Yeah.
I was talking about the online courses that we have right now. We have one about understanding language systems. They're all under the theme of knowing the subject, and there are some evergreen themes as well. So how to teach pronunciation as well. You can enroll on understanding language systems, how to teach pronunciation, and helping teachers to learn by the 23rd of November, and these are bi-monthly courses. And the other ones, assessing learning and climate action in language education, would be open till 24th. You can enroll till 24th March, and they would end by the end of March. So we offer support on the community, on our community, with discussions and extra resources, but these courses have a lot of resources in them inbuilt as well.
Definitely. So the courses that we're kind of focusing on at the moment, like you said, Rabia, are the language systems, the pronunciation, but also, like you said, the evergreen themes. So if you'd like to tell us in the chat which ones you'd like to join, that would be nice for us, to find out what kind of courses you'd be interested in.
Oh, they're saying all.
All. Okay. But remember, think about, in terms of being a self-directed learner, yes, they could all be useful, but think about the things, and kind of prioritize. What is the thing that would benefit you the most at this precise moment? And which is the thing that would kind of help you learn, well, the thing that you think you could learn more quickly. That's how I would put it.
Yes. And that is directly related to your need as well, and your context as well. Would you be teaching pronunciation? Would you be working in a role where you have to train other teachers? So maybe then that course is more suitable for you.
Okay, I think we'll move on to the final. Oh no, we talked about this already, haven't we?
Yes, it's kind of a summary of everything.
Yeah, so we were just talking about the benefits of the communities, and yeah, so one thing we didn't mention, in the community, when you work there, you'll get videos of like different tips that you can use in your classroom, but also weekly discussions. As you can see, me and Rabia having a discussion from earlier this year, and these are weekly, and obviously we encourage you to come, because like today, you can come, you can ask questions, and me and Rabia will be there to respond to your questions and hopefully offer you support as well.
And then we also have these tutor videos with different ideas. We give you teaching ideas, the skills that you can have. So a lot of times when you read something on the course, we kind of show it how you do it. So you kind of have that demonstration in front of you in the courses as well.
Okay, and then the final part of self-directed learning was the reflection. So you need to constantly assess and evaluate your progress and adapt your approaches to support this. One thing that the courses do is they provide you with a workbook which can be used as a reflective journal. So you can plan it here, think about things that you want to do, and maybe what problems you want to overcome in your classroom, what challenges you want to overcome. Then you can try it out, and then you can reflect on it. So it's an online workbook that you can use. And I think it's a good way to keep a record of things that you've tried in the past as well. I mean, for me, I don't know whether you agree with me, Rabia, but for me, reflection is the most important thing as a teacher. And the best teacher is a reflective teacher. Like, it's not about being effective. You can do lots of things that don't work in the class. But if you reflect on it and then think about how you can improve it, that is definitely more important, I think, than always being an effective teacher, because you can't 100% of the time. I think that would be too much and probably too exhausting. How about you?
Exactly. And as they say that you're not a reflective teacher and you've been teaching for 18 years, so you just have experience of 1 year of teaching and you're repeating the same experience for over 18 years. But if you're a reflective teacher, only then you can have a different experience every year. So I think that is one of the key areas. So moving on, if we think about all of these elements, there is something about how to manage yourself in an online situation. So there are some tips from teachers from around the world. I would like to thank all of my teachers, Adriano, and who's the fourth one? It just came to mind. I'm so sorry. I'll name them again. So let's have a look from the ideas that they have, and I'll thank them later on as well. So let's have a look, and then keep on thinking, which tip do you think is the most important?
Hi everyone, I'm Yang from China. The World
Yang.
Teachers Day is coming. Here are some tips for you and how to keep motivation and engagement for your online learning. The first one, that is to set clear goals. You can break down the courses into smaller, achievable tasks. Celebrate the progress to stay motivated. The second, just find engaging resources. You can look for materials that align with your own interest and learning style. Okay, last one, don't forget to connect with other learners. You can join the online forum and discuss with them about the material, and you will get support from them. Well, hope this will be helpful for you. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I am Dekumba Baro, teacher of English in Senegal. Today I would like to give some tips about online learning. When we talk about online learning, one hurdle that comes to mind is technical challenges. To better prepare myself, I ensure reliable internet connection. I invest in a reliable internet plan or use public Wi-Fi hotspot if necessary. Next, I test my equipment. I make sure my computer, my tablet, or my smartphone is compatible with the online course platform and has all the necessary software installed. And the most important thing is to always have a backup plan. I keep a backup plan of all my course materials and assignments in case of technical difficulties. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Adriano and I am an English language teacher from Brazil. And I am here to give you some tips on studying online. Number 1, do not hesitate to ask questions. If you're unsure about something, reach out to your instructor or peers for clarification. Number 2, check the course website. Look for additional resources such as FAQs, tutorials, or discussion forums. Number 3, connect with other participants. Join forums to discuss the course material and get support from your peers. These are my 3 tips and I hope that they can help you. Happy World Teachers Day and thank you very much. Bye-bye.
My tip for effective online learning for language teachers is related to time management and self-discipline. This means that it's important to create a study schedule and allocate specific time slots for your online learning. And of course, you should also consider your daily routine and other commitments when planning your online schedules. Secondly, it's important, I find, to eliminate distractions, and you can do this by finding a quiet study space to study online and minimize interruptions as much as possible during your learning time. Finally, remember to take breaks. When you study online, your eyes and also your mind can get tired quite easily. So remember to take short breaks during or in between your study sections to avoid burnout.
So I forgot Young's name. So thank you, Young, as well. Thank you, everyone, for creating this for our webinar. And I hope that you enjoyed. I can see that a lot of you are saying that you enjoyed the tips. And thank you very much. All right.
Right.
Stephen, anything you would like to add? One tip, your tip.
I mean, I particularly like the one about finding a quiet place because I don't get quiet places very often. So finding a quiet place is definitely important, and I think and taking breaks. So making sure that you're not kind of getting locked into doing it, especially if it's online because of the screen and that. I mean, I'm saying this because I wear glasses, but obviously it hurts your eyes.
Yeah. Yes, and also not doing everything, taking breaks is really, really important. That, you study for some time, you'll get overloaded. So take breaks. That is a very good idea from me as well. And like the chunks that you can easily digest, you can actually remember. So reading everything in one go will not help. So less is more and with different breaks. I think that's really important. Let's move on to our reflection slide. Let's look at these 5 points again, and where do you stand now? Do you think that you know more about these? Do you feel more confident about achieving these? Or maybe it's too soon to have like more confidence in all of these, but do you feel confident that you know what are the 5 elements of self-directed learning, and do you feel confident that you know where to find materials, resources, people related to all of these? So please let us know where you are at the moment, your confidence level.
Okay.
All right. Okay, that's nice.
Yeah, it's nice to see a little bit of improvement anyway. So
yes,
that's good.
So that was all from our side about self-directed learning, about communities and how you can build your learning. So thank you very much for joining. Thank you, Stephen, for being
No, thank you, Rabia.
Thank you both. That was great. I love you two as a double act. Please come back. And it's really nice the way you talk about things and you share your personal experience. That's a really motivating and interesting session for everybody. So we've got some questions for you. We've got a question from a Facebook user. Can I do more than one course at a time?
Fine. But
Yes.
yes,
I wouldn't necessarily recommend it though. Mainly, I mean, it depends how much time you have. I mean, if you've got free time and you can get through them, that's fine. But going back to kind of what Rabia was saying about maybe choosing everything at once,
Yeah.
and then kind of maybe not doing it as thoroughly. I would say, for me, as a teacher, but also like as a trainer as well, for me, it's always important for people to do less, but in more depth, rather than lots of little things. I think that for me is definitely the most important thing.
Better to go deep and do it well and give yourself time. Okay, that's great. Yeah, it sounds like someone, Rabia.
there is like these courses are available for 2 months and 6 months. So they can like complete one and then start another. So do not start everything at the same time. Just like Stephen said, go in depth, complete one, reflect on your, try to apply and reflect on your learning, then start a new one. The courses will be there.
Okay, yeah, don't panic. So they do come around, they change, don't they? But they're open for at least 2 months, right? So there's time. Yeah.
And also some of them repeat, like they come back as well. So if you miss one, don't worry, it will probably run again, if not straight away, but then later in the year or the following year.
Right. So it's about
your progress will be saved as well. If you have started one and then it got closed and then reopened, so your progress, if you have completed one module, it will stay and you can continue from the next one.
Right. Okay, that's good to know. So Rabia, how much time per week do you need, do you think, to follow one of these courses?
Like one unit takes 1 hour and each module has 3 units. So it's overall 12 hours courses, like 3 modules and 4 actually. One is for getting started. And then there's one for resources as well. So resources is like you can download and go back to it. But technically there are mostly 3 modules and 3 units in each. So it takes around 9 to 12 hours. For 2
people can plan their time accordingly when they're going to do it. Okay, that's great. And what about people, somebody is asking again from Facebook, what about low connectivity issues? If I'm online and I suddenly lose connection, do I lose all my progress on what I was doing? How does that work, Steve?
No, it should basically stay where you were when the connectivity was lost. So then when you go back, it will be in the same place that you left it, in much the same way, like if the course ends, it will be there for you if you come back to it.
Oh, that's
but there is something that if they were working and they went away and then they came back and they were inactive for some time, the page will stay open, but they would log out. So if they are working when they have come back after some time, then they lose the progress. So they need to check whether they are still logged in and then they should continue. So refreshing and logging back. And again, if they have taken a break, would be a good idea.
Okay, that's a good tip.
And another tip related to that is it's a good idea to actually log out of the course as well. Because sometimes if you leave it on for too long, it maybe won't work or you can't access certain things. So remember to log out when you finish your little bit of work and then log back in again afterwards, because it generally works better then.
Right. Okay, that's another good practical tip. So yeah, obviously you can ask for help in the Facebook group that we mentioned, and there's also a help button on the website and where you study your course. So if you've got technical problems or any questions, then people are there to help. So what about, let's take a broader question about continuous professional development. If you could take, for you personally, what's your favorite way to learn and develop? If you could take like one form of learning to a desert island, what would you choose? What would be your favorite? I'll give you a moment to
Take
think.
a friend or a colleague. I take a friend or a colleague, and I would want to discuss with them, take their feedback, work together. So I'm a kind of person who would learn from others. So maybe I'll take Stephen and Sadia, one of my friends, to a desert, and that is something I would learn through.
Yeah, I love that. What about you, Stephen?
I'm, go- I'm going to sound really antisocial now. I'm I'm quite old-fashioned actually. I quite like book reading. I get a lot from reading articles, from reading resources and things like that. Um, and I like the time to kind of sit and read and then kind of reflect on what it is
Yeah.
and then think about how I can apply it myself. But having said that, I mean, I think, and I think this is something that I've actually learned myself through being a tutor on the courses, is that the interaction is still important. And it's one thing that I've always had as a learner, is that I like to do it on my own first, and I like to kind of go through it and learn it. But then if I have the time later, and it's the same when I've learned languages, actually, I would study on my own, but then if I've got a class where I can then go and consolidate what I've learned and then get the chance to kind of practice it and get the chance to get the feedback and get kind of other people's ideas, then that really helps me. So I kind of, yeah, I always put it in those two parts. I always kind of section them off like that.
Yeah, that's really nice. We've got the 2 points of view. So so Rabia, for you, it's like the social interaction and learning from colleagues, and Stephen, maybe your preference is more to read things first, and that's the flexibility, isn't it? That people can find their own route.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
I think, sorry, just to add to that though, I think it's really, because one thing that's really important is that you do try the other routes as well. It's like one of those things where we say, oh, if you're a visual learner, you should just use pictures to learn. And that's not really true, is it? Because you can still learn in other ways. It's just that you've got to think about when you can. So like me reading, I like to read to learn, but at the same time, I've known and I've realized from these classes that I've gone to, but also from the interaction in the community, that I learn a lot from being with people, because they will tell me things that I would just not have thought of at all. And that's one of the great things about the communities, is that although we are the tutors, I learn tons from what people put up in terms of their comments and the ideas that they have. And I think that's really, really great.
Yeah.
And to add to that, Stephen, that there is no compulsion to interact also in our community. You can be a lurker. You can just go there, read what other people are writing, look at the posts. So there is no compulsion that you will not be part of this community if you're not interacting. So, for instance, if you are like Stephen and just like to read and see what other people are saying, that is fine as well. But if you're like me and you want to talk to people and interact and share, there is like platform for you to do that as well. So we have like both extremes.
That's a really good point. Yeah, and it depends on what your preferences are, or maybe how much time you've got. Nobody's going to oblige you, force you to try and interact. You're very welcome to be there and to take what is useful for you. Okay, that's great. What about for you personally, because it's really nice to hear about like your continuous professional development journey. Are there any particular topics that you're really interested in at the moment and you want to learn more about in the world of English language teaching? I would ask this question as well to our audience. What do you most want to learn more about for your professional practice?
Using AI ethically in English classrooms. I think that is something I really want to know more about. So that like the dignity of teaching and learning, it's not compromised. So for me, ethically using AI and how can I not feel bad while using AI, I think that is something I would want to learn more about and develop my skills.
Yeah. Are you worried about the ethical side of things?
Yes, because sometimes, the ideas that you take from there, sometimes, for instance, if I am thinking of a lesson plan and I take help from AI and I'm like, I feel bad about it at times, because I should be able to do it myself. So what I do is then I tweak it. I change it all over again. So it's extra work for me at that time. So for me, I think coming to terms with using AI, I think that is something I really need to develop.
That's really interesting. Do you feel like it's cheating?
Kind of.
Yeah.
I don't think it's cheating necessarily, because you come up with the idea that you have to input into the AI, and then the AI just develops the idea that you created. But then you usually have to adapt the thing that the AI came up with. It's just maybe a faster way of doing certain things, and it speeds things up.
Yes.
For example, if you want to do kind of Dictogloss or something like that. It's very useful for creating texts that you can then use with the learners if you don't have time. And I think that comes back to the resourcefulness thing that we were mentioning. Like a lot of teaching is a lot of kind of like finding something very quick that you can go into the classroom.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, that's always been like, as a trainer, that's the thing that I always hope to give teachers the most of, is kind of something that you can do that's very, very small that can then last for a long time. And that for me has always been the most important thing. So for example, recently I was doing a lesson with some teachers, and I just gave them 3 words, and well, it was a kind of 3 sentences. It was a tiger, a hunter, a tiger, and then they had to make a story from those 3 sentences.
Yeah.
But like if you're working in a kind of low resource environment, that you can do so much with just those 3 words. Like you set it up, the students try to kind of think of a story, then you give them input on language, then they rewrite the story, and it's kind of I think it's really important for me anyway. I think the most important thing is kind of finding activities and learning how to stretch them for as long as they can possibly be stretched.
Definitely. Get the most out of it, give people plenty of practice and time to, to assimilate. Yeah. Okay, that's wonderful. We're going to have to finish in a moment. I'm just going to, let's have a look at what people have said about what they want to most learn about. I can see AI is a popular one. Yeah. Ethics across culture, so intercultural communication. Oh, that is a really interesting one and a really important skill for us and our students in a world that is increasingly globalized and connected. And these type of communities, our teaching English communities, are a really good place to learn about that as well. Okay, well, I think we're out of time for this session, and this is our last session of World Teachers' Day. So thank you so much to Rabia and Stephen. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you. It's been an absolute pleasure to see so many people here participating in the chat. Oh, this is a good moment to lose my voice. I've made it to the end. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming. We'll share all the links by email. Don't worry if you missed anything, they will come to you, but please be patient. It will take us a few days to recover and to email everybody. And the other thing to mention is, if you're not already following our Facebook page, then you can follow our Teaching English Facebook community and our Teaching English newsletter as well. So that's got all the news about upcoming events, new resources that are available. And also, if anybody is interested in being a speaker in one of our webinars, we're always looking for new expert teachers, different voices from different contexts around the world. So look out for news of that either on the Facebook page or in the newsletter, because around November, we'll be doing a call for speakers. So anybody that's inspired from this session, then please sign up to the newsletter and follow us. So thanks again to all our moderators. You've been fantastic. Thank you to, I think, is it Karen who's there till the end, loyal on Facebook. A million thanks to Melissa and all your hard work, and to the whole rest of the team. You've all been fantastic. So thank you, everybody, and we'll see you soon in our next webinar events. Happy World Teachers' Day. Take care.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.